Hi, everybody. I've tried to film a couple videos today, and I find that I get really off topic and distracted when one thing makes me think of another. So I'm going to try to stay focused. Today's video is going to be about how Luke and I met and how we ended the first time. How we met in the first place, how we got out here, and all the middle. There's so many videos to address that are inaccurate. I feel like I might have to go through them one by one because maybe if enough people realize that it is slander, others can judge for themselves. So, okay. How Luke and I met and how we got here and how it ended. So, I was one of you. We'll start there. Even though I am the most popular person to hate on the Luke West channel, I'm also the only thing that is consistently content on that channel. Besides just his own story, there is the April narrative. It isn't the story, it's his narrative of it. I'm an artist. I have a degree in sculpture. I've won some awards. I've had some shows. I make jewelry too. And I've been journaling since I was 7 and have thousands of journals filled with my life story. So that's a little background about April and who April is a little bit. I spend every day working on art. I write every day. I'm certainly not as screen of a person as Luke. And I think that's one of the things that attracted him to me. You know, I'm not going to try to put words in his mouth, but I think that's one of the major things. One of the things that I was attracted, I mean, sure, he's pretty, but a lot of people are pretty. And if you put all the guys that I've had, relationships with in a room, there wouldn't be like a common denominator because I like when I click with somebody, and I'm not slutty and I don't sleep around and I was never like that. I have been engaged 5 times. But I think that if 5 men who I lived with for roughly 3 years at a time lived with me and loved me and wanted to propose to me, that's kind of normal. So I know that's one of his favorite things to attack about me, and a lot of his viewers' favorite things to attack about me is my mere life experience. I've been, the way I look it out, and I'm not a religious person, but like almost blessed to have had that much love. How lucky am I? I'm not a gold digger. I gave a ring back, but if you're living with a man and you love him and you're going about life with him and they propose to you, that's a big deal. And I accepted the proposal, and then I would privately kind of like on my own, like really assess if this is really forever though, if this is really forever. Forever is a big word. And I think a lot of people take it lightly. And maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but it wasn't the one. If I was going to spend a whole lifetime with somebody, and there's also the child thing, and that conversation has to come up, and some relationships end because of that, because like I never really wanted kids. And if a man really wants kids, what am I supposed to do? Marry a man knowing I don't want to have kids, who wants to have kids, and ruin his life? Like, that's terrible. And anybody that thinks, well, you should have just think about that for a minute. Think about what you really want your life to be. What makes you happy? What gives you peace? And I think Luke was attracted to these traits in me. And if any of you actually knew me in real life, oh God, I hate this kind of bragginess. I hate this selfie culture where I even have to film this and say these things about myself. I think it's gross, but I have to defend myself at this point. I'm like a warm person. Like, I really care about the people who are close and around me, my coworkers, and I don't do manipulative relationships. And when I feel manipulated, I cut people out. I do. I've had to cut out some family members that I don't talk to anymore, But you have some family members that you do have, who aren't like that. Friends you outgrow and things like that. Men that you or have a reason for a season or a season for a reason or something. But you can really grow from all those experiences. They don't all have to be tragedies. They can be painful at the time, but there can be lessons and reflection and growth. And that's how I live anyway. So, but I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint, but I'm not the narrative that's been painted of me over like a practical year's worth of videos at this point. Okay. So going back to the story, sorry, I told you I ramble, but this is like, I've tried to make a video so many times, so I'm just going to keep going. We met on YouTube, or I was a fan, just like so many of you, of his YouTube channel. Thought he seemed really real, somehow uniquely more real than other people. And I reached out to him on Instagram, even though I've never DM'd anybody in my life. That's how real I thought he was. And I wasn't like creepy or sexy or anything. I think I called him dude, like the way I really talk. And he joked about being a nobody. And I joked about how I have nobody tattooed on my shoulder. Because everybody has somebody tattooed on them, but I have nobody. I think it's funny. He liked that. I don't know. We just talked normally. And then I don't know what, but we started communicating really regularly. And for a few weeks, it was really regular. And then here's the thing though, like I love working on art. I love writing. And so when I'm involved with someone who's like a hyper texter that's going to be in constant communication, I have to eventually kind of be like, I really like getting to know you, but I'm like neglecting my own interests and things I like here. So we can start having a phone call. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. We can like maybe have a phone call once a night and catch up, or, don't take offense if I don't respond all the time because I need my hands to make art or write or get focused into what I'm doing. I don't know how many times I've said that to him, because I'll tell you right now, if Luke sends you like several pictures and you don't heart them or kissy face emoji them just because you're busy doing something else, you'll like subtly get punished for these things. Like he's like the kind. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone who's always keeping score? Okay, in real life, that's more what he's really like. So anyway, but the texting version, okay, so he didn't want to do phone calls. So I was like, you don't even know what my voice sounds like. And I have like a really low voice. Like, you should know what I sound like before you come all the way out here. He's basing all coming out here. Okay, rewind. How did he get out here? So he really seemed like he needed a change. Like he was like desperate for a change just to get out of his hometown, like do something different, right? And we'd already been talking when we started talking, I think during when he had a break from work, but he still worked at the gas station. And he was like, he had like some vacation time or something, but he was maybe part-time or something, but he hadn't gotten fired yet or quit, or I think he got fired, it was the knife, because he got fired for the knife. So we were talking before that ever happened. So I feel like, he was gearing up to come out here in a way, because I'm not sure. I feel like it factored in, like he had something he was going to do, like come out here, because I told him, if you really need a change, you can come out here for a couple weeks. I was really honest with him early on about my age. I sent pictures of me enough so he really knew what I looked like with like no makeup. Like I'm not wearing any makeup right now, little lip gloss. And that's how I sent my pictures to him. So he knew what I looked like for real. I sent him an audio clip over texting or whatever with my voice. So he like knew what my voice sounded like before he got here. And he didn't want a phone call. He just wanted to keep texting. I'm like, all right, like, so it was a little bizarre in that way. I'll admit that. But I like an adventure, and you feel like you really know him through the YouTube channel, and he's texting me all day, like all the time. He says he wants to change. I'm like, you can come out here and stay for a couple weeks, just for like a little vacation, a little break. And I was like, if there's not chemistry when you get here, like we can just be friends. Like it's cool. Like there wasn't some pressure thing. It was just like the idea of couch surfing on a friend's couch, you know? And I said, and if there is chemistry, like I just want to cover some bases. If there isn't, you're still welcome here. I don't want you to feel awkward. If there is, right on. And then he started talking about like packing as though he was coming for months. And I found that a combination of endearing and kind of romantic. But, also a lot because I haven't lived with anyone for a little while. But I don't know. I was swept up. That wasn't the intention when he came out here, but I knew he packed to potentially come out here. But also, when I saw that video of him leaving, I was like, oh, it seems like he's running away. And I immediately was like, are you like running away? Does your family and friends like hate me already? Like, what have you told them about me? And so there was already like some miscommunication there of what the deal was with him coming out here. Like that he was running away from home. That wasn't, I don't know. When he got here, he's like, I came for you. And that's sweet and it's kind of love bomby, but it's easy to get sucked up in. But I remember also at that very moment, and he'll remember my face where I was kind of like a little confused. And I'm like, that's really sweet. But like, I thought you were coming here for you. Like, I don't need anything. He loves to talk about how he stocks my grocery and how poor I am. Like, I'm fine. I'm just not, he clearly comes from a different class because he has that way of talking to regular like working class people as though it's like he's a tourist at the zoo of like regular people. So it's like weird and endearing at the same time, for sure. So within a few days of being here, I took him up to the woods, my very favorite hiking spot, my very favorite trail. And as soon like he'd been here like maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days or whatever, like very brief. And we go up there and he storms away from me down the trail, lifts up like a tree-sized log and throws it across the trail. And I think a rock too. Like picked up and threw giant things and stormed off. And I remember the shock of it. I sat on this rock for